My name's Adelle Nga'ng'a and welcome to another episode of Legally Clueless. No, seriously, I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. Hey you, welcome to episode 320 of Legally Clueless. Thank you so much for rocking with the podcast. OG members, I've got nothing but love for you. And if you're a newbie, welcome. Better late than never. This is what's coming up in this episode.
So about that girl, she told me she wanted us to meet. And I told her, okay, where do you want to meet? Then she told me we meet at Nakumatt Mega. It was those days of Nakumatt. So I went. Basically, she just wanted to tell me that she's sorry for breaking up my marriage, but she really loves David so much that their love is the kind of love that you can't not have. Meaning, she couldn't stop it. It was just too much. And she told me how he's so faithful to her. There's no other woman in their life. She loves him. She has been introduced to all their families and everything. And they're getting married. I told her, yeah, my divorce is actually being finalized. So you guys will be free to get married anytime. So up to now, they have not moved in together. Now he's asking me to come back.
That, of course, is part 2 of Njeri's story. If you've not listened to part 1, you may want to go back to episode 318 and do that first. But before we get there, though, I do hope you're doing great. I truly mean it when I say I am so appreciative that you're part of this family. And I'm so proud of the space. I was reviewing all of our shows that are currently running and our events that are upcoming and what we've had in the past. We've got 2 events already under our belts this year. I'm just acknowledging that all of them at their core are empowering African women. And it's something that I've always wanted to do. And I'm finding that finally I can say that through my company, Legally Clueless Africa, we're doing it. I want to be able to, through this space, ensure African women meet their best selves. And so I want to give you all the knowledge, the inspiration, and the community that you need to do that. And so before we get to the story in this episode, there are 2 ways that you can tap into the things that I'm making available for you. The first is the first ever show on this network where I am in front of the camera. And I'm interviewing women who helped me navigate my post-divorce era. They helped me figure out my mental, figure out my physical. Yani, they helped me meet my best self. And so this show is called For Mannerless Women. It has started. Episode 1 went out last Thursday, and we're going to have episodes out every Thursday. And in the first episode, I hosted my doctor, Dr. Sally. She saved me from a complete burnout episode that came with low-functioning depression and even suicidal thoughts. It was hectic. In episode 1, we speak about how stress, burnout, and lack of sleep is affecting women's health. This is something that Dr. Sally is seeing more and more with the women who are walking into her clinic. Now, I do not think you can meet your best self if your physical health isn't at its best. I've gone from telling every woman in my life, so my best friend, my makeup artist, when I had hair, my hairstylist, my new makeup artist, my manager, my events lead. Literally every woman I come across, be it working in my team or we bump into each other because of work, I give them Dr. Sally's number because what she did for me was so incredible. So I'm sure that episode is definitely going to help you meet your best self and do the things that are going to help your physical health hold you up. You know what I mean? And in the episode, we also spoke about something that many of us women talk about: supplements. Listen to this. Should we be picking the supplements we need? Are they general supplements that women will need as we grow older? Or should we stick to go see Dr. Sally or whoever your doctor is and then figure out, oh, this is what I need?
The latter. You put it so well. You put it so succinctly. Because you see, we know that individuals have different needs. And yes, we're both women, but you
Yeah.
might find your health status and my health status are very different. Therefore, the things I need more of in my diet now might totally differ from what you need in your health now because of our genetic makeup, because of our occupations, because of the activities that we undertake. So we don't like to say there's a blanket one size fits all. Yeah. And it's important with supplements to know, why are you supplementing? Because again, when we're thinking a lot of these things that we're using to supplement, is it that nutrition is an issue? In which case, we'd really rather figure out, how do we help you improve your diet so you're getting whatever vitamin or mineral directly
from the natural source.
From the natural source.
Yeah.
And then truly, if there is a deficiency for whatever reason, then we're very clear, okay, let us supplement this. But it's also looking at what dosage are we using, and then for what duration are we using the supplements.
Yes.
Because we don't want to overdo it. If you take certain supplements, for example, vitamin D, for example, vitamin C, magnesium, and you take them too long at too high a dose, you start getting physically ill, you get sick because of toxicities of these minerals. So we don't want a situation where you're deficient, but neither do we want one where you have too much and now you're going into toxicity.
So I remember when I first went to see Dr. Sally, I was taking tons of supplements because other people who are not doctors had told me how those supplements were working for them. And then for more, I was like, excuse me, I want to be in that mix as well. But it turns out, in the tons of supplements that I was taking, I wasn't taking the one supplement for the one thing I was deficient in. And so I was wasting my money. And honestly, risking sickness, right? As Dr. Sally said, just because I was listening to peers and not doctors. The madness. So I want you to watch the full episode. It's on our YouTube. It's also linked in the show notes. New episodes out every Thursday. And this Thursday, we're going to be speaking to a death doula. Have you prepared for your death? But we'll get to that on Thursday. Another thing I want for you, since we're talking about how can you meet your best self, is career success. To be honest, I understand the aspect of me meeting my best self has been made easier because my career is at a place that it allows me financial freedom. And it allows me to pivot. It allows me to invest in this business. And I want that for you, regardless of what industry you're in. So we have our next wellness talk geared to help you unlock career success. The guest speaker is the career whisperer. Now, she has been doing this for years, helping African women achieve career success through her individual coaching sessions and masterclasses. And during our wellness talk, she's going to be taking us through things like mindset. Because could your mindset be limiting your career? Perhaps there's a chance, eh? She's also going to be helping us set tangible and trackable career goals. If you want to pivot your career, you cannot afford to miss out on this wellness talk because she's going to help you do that. She's going to help us with application and interview strategies. And wherever it is you're employed right now, or whatever it is that you're doing right now career-wise, she's going to give you growth strategies for now, for where you're at. Now, tickets are only 1,000 bob, which is super subsidized because this is just for our community. Because usually her masterclasses and coaching sessions are priced much higher. So take advantage. It's also a virtual talk, meaning wherever you are in the world, lock in. And it's on the 26th of April at 10 a.m. East African time. There's a link in the show notes for you to grab your tickets. Please be your sister's keeper and share this with the girlfriends you really care about. As you're doing that, here's the career whisperer talking about what to expect at this wellness talk.
what differentiates a low-performing employee and a high-performing employee? One of the biggest ones is the belief systems that they have.
Yeah.
Which is like, what are the belief systems that you have that are limiting you today? What belief systems that do you need to embrace to be able to? That's the foundation. So if you have a mindset that's limiting you, it's the very basic thing. For example, jobs are scarce. What behaviors will that lead to? You won't apply for jobs. You won't job hop. You will never ever leave your employer because you believe jobs are scarce. And then once we have established the behaviors, then we'll tackle the skills. And I often want to do skills last because people will come to me and say, teach me how to negotiate. Negotiation doesn't start with what you say. It's not just like when you're in the interview, say it.
Yeah. It starts with your
Mindset, which has affected your behaviors so far, which has then led to you, the skills you have or you will acquire, matter or not matter. We will tackle like how to build a personal brand, LinkedIn revamps, CV revamps. We'll do all this good stuff, interviewing and negotiation.
All right, let's jump into 100 African stories. In this episode, we listen to part 2 of Njeri's story that honestly draws a link between marital abuse, emotional abuse, and mental health conditions. When we left off, Njeri had had a complete mental breakdown triggered by her husband's abusive ways. And when she went to hospital, the same doctor who had attended to her mom, who had suffered from a mental illness, was now, almost like history repeating itself, attending to Njeri. 100 African stories on Legally Clueless. Stories from Africa.
The next thing I knew, it was the next morning and I woke up. The same doctor that I had got for my mother was now the same doctor who was attending to me. And I thought, wow, this is how it happened for my mother, eh? Oh my God, what do I do from here? Because now my law degree means nothing. I thought maybe my brain was so clever now because I'd become a lawyer that it couldn't be deceived into getting any mental illnesses. Now my law degree didn't matter. The fact that I am beautiful, the fact that I am a good wife by my own standards, all those things don't matter. And then I asked, why am I the one getting sick? I've not done anything wrong to anybody. While I was there in the hospital bed, I asked myself, is this really what happened to my mom? None of them, the two of them, my dad or my mom, was ever able to explain to me what happened. I was too young to remember. Even my brothers were too young to really know what was going on because the eldest was only 9. So basically, I had no idea. Now, what I was seeing happening is what I thought, my God, this must be what happened. Because I remember very well when we left my mother, she used to come and try to see us. So she knew who we were and she could be able to figure out where we are. And she knew where my dad was. So she would come and try to see us. So she was okay. It's only that after my dad left her and took the children away, that now she couldn't handle it. At least that's the conclusion I drew because they themselves did not tell me much. Yeah, I remember there's a time I was with my dad and he just mentioned to me, Njeri, you know, my marriage to your mother would have never worked out. But he didn't give me any details and I was too young or too scared to ask for more details. So there I was in the hospital bed with the doctor, and the doctor is telling me one or two things. Then I told him I'm okay. I told him the problem is what David is doing. He said he would talk to him, and that was it. Then I was discharged and David came, picked me up and took me home. And then I couldn't breastfeed the baby anymore because of the medicines I was taking. He was put on formula. But once I had finished the medicines, then we went back to the breastfeeding. I was yet to meet any of David's girlfriends, especially the one who was working for him, the one who he was renting that apartment for. I told myself there's no need. Because what will I tell her? It just turned out one time, the girl was on Facebook. This was sometime in August of 2012 when I was still with a baby. And at that time, my niece, the ones who we had adopted, had been accepted to a university in the US. And David now left to take her to the US. So while he was gone, his girlfriend posted a picture on Facebook of her and him in his car. And she was pecking him on the cheek. And she tagged me on it. And she tagged all of her friends. Oh my God, I'm telling you, when I saw that, I thought to myself, Yani, it's not enough, eh? She has not had enough. I called David and I told him, what is happening here now? What is this? You know what he told me? It was just a peck. And I said to myself, yeah, it was just a peck, eh? It's not anything I should be concerned about, I guess. He just continued and continued and continued to break me and break me and break me until now. After that is when I had the first mental explosion, if I can call it that. So I went home after the hospital. I started thinking I need to do something because my thoughts in my head just wouldn't stop. My mind was always racing and I'd always be imagining where they are, what they are doing, what do they do that me I don't do. You know, just so many thoughts that just wouldn't go away. I had another episode sometime in 2013, and then I just told myself, Njeri, all marriages are worth fighting for, but there is no marriage worth dying for. So I said, I'm not gonna end up like my mother, having your children taken away from you, and then all that. So I started plotting now my exit. I talked to him. Well, I moved out of our bedroom and I moved to the visitor's room. And then one day he came home. He said he wants to talk to me. Then I went to talk to him. Then he told me, oh, I can see you've moved now to another room. You don't want to be under the same roof as me. I told him, yeah. See, you're busy. You've got other women in your lives. What do you need me for? Then he said, well, I think you should leave. Then I said, leave and go where? Then he told me, we can't stay like this. I don't want that embarrassment of the children seeing you sleeping in a different room. I told him, but it's all you. You're the one who has made it all happen. Why don't you stop? Then he says, no, you can't control me by doing things. I can't control you by what you want to do, but this is my house. You have to do what I say. Then I just realized it's true that I can't control him. And there is nothing in the whole wide world and the universe that I, Njeri, will ever do to make him leave her. There's nothing. If he ever leaves her, it would be because he has decided to do so on his own free will, not by any influence from me. So I said, okay, what about the children? Then he said, we'll discuss the children after you've left. Of course, he knew I can't leave the children. He knew that I was so heartbroken by not being raised by my mother that is not something I would do. So he wanted to use that now to control me. So I prayed a lot and I asked God to guide me on a plan on how I can live and go with my children. Fortunately, God actually loves me because even though I didn't love him so much those days, he still answered my prayers when I asked for something. So one day I decided that now I really must go because he came home and he started banging on the door where I was sleeping in such a way that I was thinking if I opened that door, he'll either slap me or beat me up. So I didn't do that. That weekend, the kids were closing school. So I took them for a sleepover at my mom's house. And I told him they have gone for a sleepover. So the only one who was left was the baby who was to be with me. My mom at that time was living by herself. And this is, by my mom, I'm talking about now my stepmom. Yeah, my stepmom. So she had raised me and we were good friends. So when I told her that I was having problems, she told me, Njeri, if you have to leave, you can come to my house. So I went there. The day came. For some reason, he didn't pay too much attention to me in terms of whether I'm plotting to leave. I think he just thought there's no way I would ever leave because he thought there's no way I can take the children from him. So when I sent the kids for the sleepovers, I packed up our things and ferried them to my mom's house. Then a Saturday came and then he went out as usual. He came back. Then me at 7 in the morning, I took the baby, and I left. Then I told my house girl, the one who was left. Fortunately, my house girls were on my side. Even my driver was on my side. So nobody told him anything. He went out as usual because Saturday nights he would go and come back at around 6 in the morning or 7 in the morning. So he went. Then by the time he came back, he thought we were still in the house. He didn't even notice that anything had been moved because I was not taking furniture. Me, I just took personal effects, clothes, shoes, those kind of things. Then now the house girl, when she opened for him, he got in, he went to his room and he slept. She made for him his breakfast and left him there as usual, left it there. And then she got out, locked the gate, and threw the keys back into the house. Then I told everybody, switch off your phones. So everyone switched off their phone. Even me, I switched off mine. At around Sunday now, in the evening, I think that's when he came to realize, oh, there's nobody here. And nobody seems to be coming back. Then I think he went outside, he checked, he found the keys there. And now he thought, something fishy is going on. So he called my brother. Then my brother told him, yes, she has left. She's at my mom's house. She doesn't want to see you or talk to you at all. He didn't bother. So we switched on our phones. And then one time he tried to call me. I refused to talk to him. Then we just lived with my mom. I had a house to move to, but I was sure if I did, he would come and take the kids away. He didn't know about that house, but I just didn't want to risk him finding out about it. And then he comes there and it's only me who is there. Because one time he tried to come to take the children, and for some reason that day, and I'm telling you, Mungu is on my side, for some reason that day I didn't leave early, and neither did my mom. Now my stepmom. So at around 9:30, 10 in the morning, she was now going to reverse her car. Then some Mercedes came and blocked her. And then she got out of the car now to check who is this blocking her. Kumbe, it's him. Then we all, the children normally used to stand at the window and say bye to her when she's going out. So I was there standing there with one of my house helps. And then we saw him. And my heart started pounding. And I thought to myself, now what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Fortunately, my stepmom was tough. So she got out of the car and she went there and she said, who is this? David, what are you doing in my compound? Then he said, I'm not in your compound. Then she said, you are in my compound. You are there next to my house. All this is my compound. That is a common area. You're not allowed in here. Then he said, I've come to see my people. Which people? If you want to see your people, why are they not at your house? What are they doing in my house? I know the way you've been mistreating Njeri. She has told me everything. And I don't want to see you here. Get out right now before I call the police. Then he was left speechless. He got in his car and he drove off. Anyway, after about, say, 9 months, we had sat down. He called my brother again and another family friend, and we went and we sat down. We agreed that I'm going to keep the kids. And then he said he'll pay school fees and he'll pay inpatient medical cover. And then I felt safe now to move into my own house. So I moved. The agreement we reached was just verbal. I didn't expect him to sign anything. He's the kind of person who will just say no. He's not going to sign anything. So the thing is, I had witnesses. My brother was there and some other family friends were there. And they told him, now you have agreed to this, so you have to keep it. When we moved now to my house, he used to come, pick the children, take them out and bring them back. From there, we just started co-parenting. I still used to get bouts or episodes of the mental illness when eventually I was diagnosed with bipolar. And then in 2017, I had the worst bout of that bipolar than I have ever seen. I started hallucinating. My mind was racing. I did the craziest things. Like I was driving on the Southern Bypass. And then I just parked the car on the side of the road and I left the key and my handbag, everything there, and I started walking. I even removed my shoes and I started walking and walking and walking. And then some guys who were selling plants and flowers on the side of the road are the ones who saw me and thought, this lady has a problem. So they came to me, they started talking to me. Then I told them I have my car, which is over there. Then they told me, so you take us to your car. Then they took me to the car. I took them to the car. And then when we got to the car, they told me, what did you say your name is again? I told them Njeri. They told me, now Njeri. They told me in Kikuyu, get in the car and go home. Okay? And I said yes. So I got in the car and drove home. And then that time I told my brother, I need help. I need to see a doctor. So he took me to the hospital where I used to go, it's called Bustani in Lavington area. At that time now, when the doctor came, I told him, Daktari, please, this time, whatever you say, I will follow. And don't discharge me until you are sure. Don't let me tell you when to discharge me, because that's what I used to do before. This time, you just discharge me when you're ready. I stayed there for 1 week and then I left. From that day, I've been taking my medications, going to see the doctor. I went for therapy for a while, and then the therapist told me, I think, Njeri, now you're okay. You can be coming in case you feel anything. And That's my life now. But throughout all this happening, can you imagine I was still working? I was still working. I was drafting pleadings. I was going to court. I was doing sales of properties and all that. Yeah, I was still doing them. Clients were still coming. In fact, my law firm was doing well. God is good. If you trust Him, He can work miracles in your life. Things that you don't even know where they're coming from. They just come and you ask yourself, how did I do that? But when I first left, I wrote a blog where I revealed everything of what has been happening to me. And there's some clients who read the blog and got scared. Some people got scared that I can't represent them competently. But others were like, Njeri, yes, fight back. I have experienced something that has defeated other women. And when I wrote my blog, so many women reached out to me, and I used to meet them and just give them what is called peer counseling. Peer counseling is when you have experienced something and you've gone through it and you've succeeded, and then you meet somebody who is just getting into it, and that person now relies on you. And when they tell you, Njeri, my mind is racing, I know exactly what they mean. It's not the same as going to a therapist who is telling you you're the one who has a problem. The therapist is okay. So I did a lot of peer counseling, and eventually I set up my own women's shelter called Mary's Manger. That place, Carmeredo, where I was born, I built it there, and we house and accommodate and counsel women who are suffering from marital abuse. They can come there just to take a break for one night or 2 nights, just to say, hey, let me just go somewhere where my mind might be clear and I can think. And then the others who come and they stay for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, we give them up to 6 months to stay and just decompress. It's free. Yeah, I cater for it from my pocket. So the name Mary's Manger came from some very interesting concept that I had, which I absolutely love. So Mary was my mother's name. She was called Mary Ruth Wakafa Mushero. Mary was also the name of Jesus' mother. So Mary's Manger comes from Mary, the mother of Jesus, the manger she went to. So I was thinking to myself about what Mary was going through when she was going to the manger. They had been traveling for a very long time. She's on a donkey, she's pregnant, she's tired. They're trying to get a hotel, they can't find a hotel, no inns, nobody to house them. And then they're told, go to that barn where there are cows and goats, and that's where you're going to give birth. And she's thinking, I'm giving birth to Jesus, the Son of God, and this is the best I can get, So she must have been kind of even doubting, or thinking, oh my God, this is hard. So the women who are coming to Mary's Manger are going through the same thing, because they're asking themselves, now, all of us are carrying the Holy Spirit. So you're thinking, why isn't things working out for me at this time? Considering that I am a Christian, I believe in God, I do all these things. Because these women, most of them, really try so hard for their marriages, the ones I've talked to. So when Mary got to the manger, she had the baby. And then she saw this baby and she was so happy. And then the kings came and blessed this baby and brought frankincense and myrrh and gold and enriched that family. By the time Mary was leaving that manger, what do you think she was thinking? She must have been beside herself with happiness and joy, thinking, here is my baby from God. I have him in my hands and I can be able to raise him and give him everything he needs, because all these blessings I have been given by the people who have come to see my baby. So what I want is when a woman is leaving Mary's Manger, she's leaving with the same joy, feeling now I can think. Because let me tell you, if there's one thing you want to be able to do when you're going through marital abuse, is to think, to just think clearly and be able to plan yourself. It is so hard because you're haunted by thoughts of what your husband is doing, what he's going to, when you hear him coming home, you're thinking, oh my God, now what's going to happen tonight? You don't have the opportunity to just sleep, because you can be sleeping and then he comes in, wakes you up, or he does something, So your sleep is always interrupted by thoughts. You'll probably even wake up in the middle of the night because of the way you're thinking, you're not at peace. So when you come to Mary's Manger, you can sleep. That man is nowhere near you. you can actually sleep and your children are with you because the rooms are big enough for you to have your children there. So you come, you can be with your children. By the time you're leaving, at least you have a direction of where you want to go. That was where Mary's manger came from. By the time, you see, like the third born was just a baby by the time we left the house, because we left in 2013 and he was born in 2012. So he was only 1. My daughter was 6 and the other one was 4. So they were not at an age where you can be able to explain what's going on. So I never used to explain anything, but one thing I knew for sure, I don't want them to feel what I'm feeling. So I never used to tell them anything about what's happening. And I never used to talk about their dad to them at all, telling them this, that, nothing. If your children see you happy as a mother, the rest is details. Because I made sure that when they see me, we are either playing, having lunch, just doing fun things. If I'm crying, I'll cry in my room by myself, but not in their presence. And if their dad comes to see them and takes them places, I don't object. I tell them, you go with your dad and learn from them. Now, after we had agreed with him as to how it's going to be done. It was actually fortunate for me that all this happened when my kids were young. Now, when they're older, they've asked me questions about what happened. And I just told them the truth. And they were like, okay, that's fine. And they still see him now. He has asked me to go back, actually. Yeah, he came sometime during COVID in 2020, sometime in August there. He came home and he started saying that he wants to talk to me. So I said, it's okay, yeah, we can talk. So we went to the living room and the kids went to the TV room. Then he started giving me stories from here, up there, everywhere. They're called Shia Diresha Ikurukire in Kikuyu. Just many stories. And then eventually he said, now the reason why I wanted to talk to you is because I want you to come back. Then I said, back where? To be your wife? Then he said, yes. In fact, he said, what else? Then I told him I have to think about it. Then I thought about it. And after 2 weeks, I told him, no, I can't come back. Yeah. And he asked me again another time, but I've told him I can't. He's still the same guy. He has not changed. I can see very well. And I know what I'm worth. For him to just come and say, oh, come back. He's not even saying sorry for what he did. He's not even wanting to discuss what I'm coming back to. Because I need to know, you did this. And this, and this, and this, and this. Do you remember that you did all those things? And what do you have to say for yourself? I did mention to him that, is he willing to go for counseling? He said no. He can't go and tell his problems to strangers. That's what he said. So I thought to myself, he doesn't understand the gravity of what he did. My life could have ended because of some girl. Because now, you know what he did that time? He even called the children and told them, oh, I want you to come back and stay with me. And also your mom. Then my daughter was like, and what did she say? Now pointing at me. And he was like, oh, and then I said, no, I told him that I'll think about it. Then the second Bonizano made me laugh. He was like, but Daddy, what happened to your girlfriend? Because he had introduced them to her, you know? Yeah, they had gone somewhere out and they went with her, you know. Although he never told them who she is as a girlfriend or whatever, when they came home and told me who it was, I said, yeah, that's his girlfriend. So now the cowboy was like, but what happened to your girlfriend? And then he was like, oh, she's just there. And I thought to myself, just there. The person who you would wake up at 3 a.m. to talk to on the phone is just there. Anyway, well, I refused. And I'll always refuse. I'll never go back. I'm so happy the way I am now. I don't want to risk giving the devil another chance to take away my life. Hey, no way. So about that girl, after I had left, I can't remember exactly when it was, but I was just in the office, then I got a call. And I didn't know who it was. I picked up, and then she told me, oh, Njeri, it's so-and-so. And I said, oh, okay. What were you calling about? So she told me she wanted us to meet. And I told her, okay, where do you want to meet? Then she told me we meet at Nakumatt Mega. It was those days of Nakumatt, after work at around 5. Then I told her, okay, I'll come. So I went and we sat, and basically she just wanted to tell me that she's sorry for breaking up my marriage, but she really loves David so much that their love is the kind of love that you can't not have. Meaning she couldn't stop it. It was just too much. And she told me how he's so faithful to her. There's no other woman in their life. She loves him. She has been introduced to all their families and everything, and they're getting married. Yeah, then I told her, oh, okay, that's good. Me, I just listened. She even told me, oh, I know David is too proud to apologize, so let me apologize to you on his behalf. I know he really hurt you, but it's because we really love each other, Njeri. Please understand. I listened. Then she told me that after I wrote my blog, everybody in the she went to Catholic University. So everybody in the uni knew that it was her, and it really embarrassed her. I don't know whether she wanted me to apologize, but I didn't. Yeah. And then I told her, well, all the best. My divorce I applied for divorce by that time. And David never fought it. So it went through very easily. I told her, yeah, my divorce is actually being finalized. I think it was just a few months from when we had met. So you guys will be free to get married anytime. So up to now, they have not moved in together. Now he's asking me to come back. I don't know, I don't know what happened to her. Can you imagine that whole relationship broke off our marriage, almost killed or destroyed my life and my kids' lives. And now he expects to just come and say, oh, Njeri, come back. And I just come back. That's how men are these days, I guess. My standards right now are just too high. I think I just want a guy who comes from the sky. And I see him coming down and God tells me, Njeri, that's the man you're supposed to get married to. The Bible, Paul does say that if you can stay single, that's the best for you. Don't get married if you don't have to. Because if you feel that you're going to burn with passion, then get married. But if you can stay single and just serve God, do that. So what me I've told God, because God is my confidant. Right now, he's my husband. He's the one who takes care of me, provides for me and my children, and does everything. So what I've told him, if there is no Mr. Right out there for me, just help me be able to stay with you and stay happy. And so far, so good. I do wonder what will happen to me when my kids are all grown up and they have left. But I'll deal with it at that time when it happens. It's not that I don't have people who are interested. I do. But yeah, like I tell you, my standards are high. Yeah, and you know when you're in charge of your life, as in you get home, you're the boss, you just get home and you say, go do this, go do that, go do the other. It's hard to now get into a relationship with somebody who now is supposed to be higher than you. Yeah, so maybe there's a guy out there and maybe I'll meet him one day. But even if I don't, I'm okay. So to close, I would say I don't advocate for divorce or separation or anything. I don't advocate for any of those things. I believe that with the right attitude from both parties, a marriage can be worked on. Sometimes a separation may be necessary just to make somebody realize, yeah, I might lose so and so. But marriage to me is still good. And if you find the right person, it's wonderful. So I would never tell any woman, leave now. I would tell her the same thing God told me, that there is no marriage that's not worth fighting for. Every marriage is worth fighting for, but there is no marriage worth dying for. So if you feel like your life is at risk, then you should leave. But if you can be able to pray and try to see whether God can change that guy for you, then do it. But I also want to say that being single is a wonderful experience. When you know who your God is and your relationship with God is on the right track, it can actually be so fulfilling. And that's the kind of life I have right now. It's very fulfilling. I pray every day, every morning before I leave my house. After I get dressed, I have to pray and ask for God to be with me through all that I'm going to do today. I also pray with my children. At least once a week we sit together, we read the Bible, we pray, and all of them have good relationships with God because they have seen what God has done for us. And I've never made them think it's me. I've always told them, guys, you see me paying for a holiday, we go somewhere, all of us, and we fly business class and we live in top hotels. It's not my doing. Because think about it. Those clients who come to me, they didn't materialize from somewhere where I know. May I just get a phone call and somebody tells me, oh, Njeri, I was referred by I don't know who, and I want to buy a property. Can you act for me? And I say, yes. I don't know where those clients come from. It's God who knows. Even the money those clients are paying me with, I don't know where it came from, but they have money which they put into my account. So my children are quite alert and aware of what God does for them. We live a good life together, me and my children. Yeah, I love them, they love me, and God has just taken care of us so well. So to tell people, stay married if you can fight, get out if your life is at risk, don't fear being single. It is wonderful.
Catch more African stories in the next episode of Legally Clueless. What an absolutely powerful story. First and foremost, I'm so glad that Njeri shared it, because women are often forced to carry the shame of what the men in their lives do. So if your husband does something like this, you hide it and you keep quiet because his shame is yours. Me personally, I don't agree with that notion. Speaking lets other women know that they too can leave and that certain behavior is not normal. I also think with marriage, it's important to be super self-aware so that you know why you're getting married and what structure works for you in marriage. Like, when I think about my own experience, I think I got married because it was time. It was expected. I believed all relationships had to, at the 2 or 3 year mark, move to the next chapter, which is the marriage chapter, you know? And I thought what society deems the acceptable structure of marriage is what would work for me. In fact, I didn't fully grasp that I could change that structure. But right now, I know that first and foremost, I don't desire kids. I do not desire to live with a man or anyone really continuously. And that really informs my current and will inform my future relationships. Another thing I think is important is to know that it's okay for relationships, even marriage, to end. And I've always believed that there's no reason that is too frivolous when it comes to what is making you want to end your marriage. Because who determines what's big or small for another? You know what I mean? There's no one size fits all. So leave, let it end. I want to know what you connected with from Njeri's 2-part story. Please drop it in the comments wherever you're listening to this episode from. I love hearing from you. And in fact, I do not allow anyone else on the team other than me to respond to all your comments. So it truly is me typing back to you. And the last thing that I want to share before I leave you is a very inspiring episode that's part of a series we're doing that's spotlighting incredible African women. So we got to feature one of Kenya's top actresses. And she's not only ruling when it comes to our screens, but she also is building a fashion empire that prioritizes plus-sized women, especially when it comes to all things bridal wear and couture wear as well. Her gowns, oh my God, it took all my strength to focus on interviewing her and not forcing her to let me try on all the gowns in her store. Her name is Neomi Nga'ng'a. And the reason I want you to check out this episode is it's one of the most honest stories we've ever had on any of our shows about starting a business. I mean, one of the things she talks about is running her business for 3 years, not paying taxes or knowing that she needed to be paying taxes. And then one day, the tax man came to their premises and was asking for millions. Now, let me tell you, as a business owner myself, this feels like it's a rite of passage. You always have to have a tough conversation with the tax man at least twice when you're starting up. But when you listen to a lot of business people speak, they never talk about these dark times or these mistakes you make when you're starting. So if you are a woman who is starting a business, thinking of starting, or even already running your business, please watch our Neomi Nga'ng'a feature. It is live on our YouTube channel. She drops so much knowledge that could really benefit your business. It's live on our YouTube, but there's also a link in the show notes for you to check it out. Thank you for listening to this episode to the very end, and thank you for being part of this family. I appreciate you. and I believe you have everything it takes to heal. That's it for this episode of Legally Clueless. You can share this podcast with your friends. You can keep it for yourself. I'm not judging. Just make sure you're here next week for the next episode.